What Lonzo Thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer up my unsolicited views on everything from movies, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. My thoughts are unsolicited and nobody cares, but I care, and if you're listening, damn it, I guess you care a little bit too. All right, got a special guest with me today, Mr. Rausheem Thompson. What's going on, dude?
What's up? What's up?
Alrighty then. Been a while since we chopped it up, man. What's been going on with you?
Working
Hard or hardly working?
a little bit of both. Depends on what you're working.
You know that feeds a question. Oh, what is hard work? What's the definition of hard work? My dad, bless his heart, rest his soul, he told me once. He was like, he didn't believe in hard work. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't believe in hard work? Well, the point he made to me was that if you love what you're doing, it should never be hard. So if you're working hard, you're probably doing something you're not really engaged in that you really don't want to do. Because if it's something you love and something you're passionate about, it should never be hard. So I got it. So there you go. Hard work or hardly working, man. What's the deal?
Hardly working.
Right on. Now, I know last time we talked about a lot of different things as far as we talked about relationships, we talked about politics, we talked about what's going on in the world. But a hot button issue, that's always a hot button issue, is the interaction between men and women and the things we talk about and how we get down with each other. So one of the things I want to start off with is interpersonal relationships, man and woman, when they meet, how they meet, why they meet, and what goes through the mind of a woman and what goes through the mind of a man. Now, I wish we had a woman here with us. I think we were trying to get somebody to come on here and chop it up with us, but she got scared and chickened out. So if you're listening out there, you know who you are, and you know who we're talking about. So next time, you need to be here so we can put you on the spot. But once again, man meets a woman. What's going through that dude's mind? First and foremost, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the initial attraction for every man is physical. So I think the motivating factor is the physical attraction and the thought of being intimate with a woman. And depending on what that man is looking for, whether it be a relationship, a friendship with benefits, or just a personal relationship of platonic, then that determines how he deals with her in the aspect of if he just wants to hit, he really don't care about much. He's just trying to cut to the chase. But if he wants some substance, then he cares about, what she likes, what she does, and who she is, And if it's business or like platonic, then it's just whatever. He's just kicking it.
I beg to differ. I think dudes just want to smash. I think first and foremost, dudes want to smash. And I can speak from my own personal perception, especially, as a young dude or whatever, right? If I saw a girl and she was attractive or whatever, I'm not thinking about what's going on in her mind. I don't care. I just want to smash. You know what I mean? And I think one of the first thoughts is, can I smash? If I talk to her, if she likes me, I mean, how much work do I have to put in to smash? And then obviously if you smash and, and things go well and you like her, then you might start thinking about, worrying about what's in her brain. But I know that's kind of a sexist thought, and if I'm offending people out there, oh well, but come on now. Dudes just want to smash. I think that's like an animalistic instinct that you can't really, you can't suppress.
I agree, but that's what I was saying. The initial attraction is physical. So it depends, like, if he just want to smash, exactly. But it's also how this person meets. If you meet the woman at the job, you might not have been attracted to her initially, but then it's something she said or you being around her in a controlled environment, and all of a sudden you became attracted to her, and now you want to smash, So it just varies, and I think each situation is different, but initially, for most men, it's physical.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right in that perception, man. But at the same time, it's physical. But think about it now. When you have this kind of mindset as a man, that animalistic urge to mate, I guess is a good way to put it, to mate with the female species, is it really something physical, or is just that urge that you're feeding into? Because I mean, I've done my research. I've read books and I've seen things on television, so on and so forth, especially dealing with sexual addiction. One of the common things that I've noticed is that like guys who are sexually addicted or have this compulsion, they really don't care. They don't care anything about the woman itself. It's just the act, that they have to feed. So I mean, and the question I always had in my mind is, as a man, is it more about that urge, and it really doesn't matter physically who that person is? It's just you have to feed that chemical impulse in your brain. So am I getting too deep, man?
No, I just think that particular one thing is one of the things that men do differ from, because I know people who will sleep with anything with a hole, but I have buddies who tell me I'm too picky. So at the end of the day, you do have some men who just want to release, and then you have men who are selective in who they release with. I'm one of those people who I like a certain type of female, and I won't just sleep with any female. So that's where I differ.
Well, that's a trickle down there. I think it's definitely a trickle down. And when it comes to interpersonal relationships, I guess everybody has their own mechanism that triggers them. I know for me, it's strictly I gotta like the face. If I don't like the face, nothing else happens. You know what I mean? Body number 2, face number 1, and brains, that's like number 5, number 6 down the line. Because if you ain't good looking, I gives a damn what you think. I gives a damn what you got to say. And I think, and I wish I had a woman here to kind of counteract this right now, because I think when it comes to men, one of the things that they think about, or women, the things that they think about is how much does the dude have any money? What kind of car he drive? What can he do for me? If and once again, I don't feel comfortable speaking for women, but at the same time, as a man, I'm thinking that is what they're thinking about when they meet us, is what can that do for me? What are your thoughts?
And once again, that varies from woman to woman, because you have to know the difference between a female and a woman, because I believe at this day and age, depending on the age of the female or the woman, substance comes into play. So if she's already a hard-working woman, got her money, she's looking for a man with substance to add. And if she's just a female out here trying to get it the fastest way she can, then she's just looking to take. And so that's a question too, that you have to differentiate between the female and the woman, because all of the females are going to say, they just want a man to bring something to the table, but it's how they go about and expressing that. Are they adding, or are they always subtracting, taking, and not giving?
True that. And and folks out there listening, I mean, what do you think? You need to comment below, chime in, let us know what you think as well. So I definitely want to know what everybody out there listening thinks about this particular subject, because once again, it's definitely a hot button issue, something that I think everybody has a different take on. You can ask 20 different people the same question, you can probably get 20 different answers. Really, I think a lot of it maybe depends on how a person was brought up, what kind of environment they come from. What kind of culture they come from. Obviously, if you ask the same question to a Muslim or to an Indian, you would get a totally different set of answers from that person. Because, like I said, like for example, in think about like the Muslim religion, how the women are treated. And correct me if I'm wrong here, man. I definitely want to step out of line when I say this, but like on the Islam or whatever, how women are treated. So I mean, I guess my question is, I haven't interacted much with that culture as far as their interpersonal relationships. So from the outside looking in, I think it's like treacherous. I mean, because it's like, I think I've read like in the papers or whatever, like if a woman like show her kneecap in public, whatever, she can be beheaded and shit. I mean, think about that. I mean, so what are your thoughts on the interpersonal relationship between men and women through different cultures?
Well, I really don't have much to say, because I don't know their covenant and bylaws or rules or, religious beliefs when it comes to how their women are to be, as far as walk behind, not beside, not in front, and all of his body has to be covered up except their eyes unless they're in the privacy with their man. So I don't know, because I don't have enough knowledge to make a respectable comment.
That's some scary shit though, man. Damn. Okay, you showed your ankle in public. Now you gotta die. The fuck, man.
I mean, if that is true, then wow, that's kind of messed up. But once again, if that's the way they were brought up, who am I to tell them anything different? Because we're brought up to tell the truth. We brought up to not lie, not cheat, not steal. So if that's how they were brought up in their morals and values, then that's their beliefs. But until I learn more about it, I really can't comment. I don't want to be ignorant about it and say something stupid.
No doubt. I guess I got to do a little bit more research though, so that's definitely be a topic for another day. But it's always interesting to kind of think about other cultures, other religions, other nationalities, and how they handle situations that we may see in a different light, especially being from the black community. I think, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong here, man. I think in the black community, for the most part, I'm speaking towards the younger culture. I know I might sound like a mean old man or whatever, like get off my lawn or whatever, but I really don't think that our millennial or newer generation, especially the guys, respect women at all. I think the respect for the black woman has diminished greatly over, say, the past 15, 20, 30 years. What are your thoughts on that?
For how, excuse me, for how I was raised, yes. But once again, these new generational kids, they have a mind of their own and taking off on their own, because there are some parents out here who are trying to instill good morals and values, but these kids are rebellious. For one, a lot of parents don't spank their kids. They don't get punished in school with the principal giving you a swat. And so that village and that term about it takes a village, all that has stopped. And so the kid may respect his parents but not respect his elders. So in saying that, it has gone wild. So the question would be, how do you get it to come back? And that's the question, because I believe, kids should get spanked. I believe in whooping a child. It works for me, and I think it'll work for some of these younger generational kids now.
Shit. Those days are gone. They ain't never coming back, man. Cause now you put your hand on the kid, boy, it's on and popping. They go to school and and tell the teacher, Daddy whooped me last night. Shit, next thing you know, they come to the jaw, hemming your ass up, and and you haven't explained why you spanked your kid, with a belt. Back in the day, we all know, Big Mama hit you whatever was around. You know what I mean? A belt, a stick, extension cord, iron, you name it.
Oh yeah, race car track.
Exactly. Hot Wheels, shit, a broomstick, you name it. If it was close by, it was on and popping. So those days are definitely long gone. That kind of, since you brought it up, man, thinking about back in the day, corporal punishment in school. I know they don't do that shit no more, or whatever. But I know personally that paddle, boy, just the thought of going to the principal's office and getting that wood, boy, that's enough to keep a nigga straight.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think the discipline of that needs to come back into play. People getting whoopings, your mom embarrassing you in public, and knowing in the fear of getting embarrassed, that's not what you wanted, so it made you behave. Watching your brother or your sister or another child getting spanked in public, you knew that you needed to stay straight because you didn't want to be that one that everybody talked about.
Man, there's a figure in the public eye right now who should have got his ass whipped when he was a kid, man, who probably never got spanked. You know who I'm talking about? You got one guess.
Your president?
Bingo. Once again, if the Secret Service out there listening or whatever, hey, don't get mad at me, okay? He your boss. It ain't my fault that he an ass or whatever, right? But if anybody in this planet need to get their ass whipped, it's him. But I know he'll never, it'll never happen to him, whatever, right? But yeah, that is the person that's leading our country right now, that is the result of someone not getting their ass whipped as a child. Spare the rod, spoil the child, and it's affecting all of us now. What are your thoughts on that, man? Am I off base with that one?
I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I'm gonna keep mine to myself.
Well, I ain't afraid to say it. Somebody should get their ass beat, and he lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay.
What I will say though is, it's a double standard in society when, we always talk about you got to be at the highest moral standard to become a president, but when you have people who cheat on their wives multiple times and multiple baby mamas, and they blatantly grope women in public, or they talk about people's race and nationality. I mean, you figure out who it is. I'm not saying no names, but it's just sad that it's a double standard in this society.
Yeah, and the double standard continues to perpetuate itself, because people always say, especially now since we got who we got in office now versus who we had before with Obama. We get a chance to say, well, when Obama was in office, if he did this, and this, y'all would have lost y'all damn minds. But now turn around and this fool does this, and this, and everybody want to defend him. I mean, like for a great example of that, man, how everybody lost their damn mind when Obama wore a tan suit. Remember that?
I missed that one, but I heard about it.
Yeah, or everybody lost their damn minds when Michelle wore a sleeveless dress. A certain faction of society lost their damn minds, man. But yeah, that double standard, it needs to go somewhere. It needs to get rid of that. Now, speaking of double standards, man, I saw something very interesting today. And once again, we kind of beating the bush here, going through topic after topic. This is what I call my potpourri show. I use it on Fridays. I do a potpourri, so y'all can need to hang with us, whatever. Anyways, I was watching in the morning. The first thing I like to do is turn on TV and I watch ESPN, Sports Center. Now my new favorite show is Get Up, so I'm gonna give a unsolicited plug for Get Up with Jalen Rose, Mike Greenberg, and Michelle Beadle. And today they had another guest. They'll have a fourth guest commentator, and that was Damian Woody. He used to play football for the Jets and for the Patriots. He played on the offensive line. Anyways, I say all that to say this: they got on the subject of Colin Kaepernick. So if you folks out there listening don't know what the latest is on Colin, I'll get you up to speed. All right. So as we know, Colin's been out of work for over a year now because he chose to kneel to bring light the oppression of black folks in America and the justice system and how we're unfairly treated under this current justice system. Well, anyways. As you well know, he started kneeling during the national anthem, and a certain faction of society made it all about the military. Well, he never said anything against the military, but that's not what this is about. Anyways, long story short, turns out that Colin was scheduled to work out with the Seattle Seahawks, and they canceled the workout because they asked him if they were to sign him, would he still kneel during the national anthem. And he said, well, I can't promise you that I won't, can't promise you that I will. So they canceled the workout because I guess he didn't say, hey, I won't kneel anymore. So that made me think, this dude is in a kind of a rocky spot, a touchy spot, because obviously he needs to work like everybody else. He's rich, I'm sure. Hopefully he took care of his money to where he's working because he wants to and not because he has to. Anyways, my thought is he's kind of backing himself into a corner, because if he says, I'm not going to kneel anymore, then a certain faction of society will say, well, nigga sold out. Whereas if he says, yeah, I'm still going to kneel, then he won't get a job, and folks be saying, damn, that stupid nigga. All you have to do is just lie and say yeah or whatever, and then do it anyway or whatever. And so first of all, let's talk about that, and we'll get into the second part of this in a minute. But is Colin in a tough spot, and what are your thoughts on that?
In my opinion, yes, he is, because it's all about his content of his character and where he want to stand for what he believes. And once again, it's a double standard, because everybody knows that he's standing for or kneeling for police and justice across the country. but a person is trying to make it more about the national anthem when, once again, if they go through the history of the original national anthem, black people wasn't included. But they took that part of it out. You see what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the people who are asking that question, will you kneel? At the end of the day, if that's his cause, he has a right to protest. It's a peaceful protest. So who are the people to tell him you can't kneel? Once again, you can do what I say you can do, but you can't do what you want to do, even though that's your right.
So if he says, and once again, let's speak from the black community for a moment here. So if he says, no, I'm not going to kneel anymore, I'm going to stand for the national anthem, is he a sellout? Has he sold the cause out because to get his job back?
My thing would be, if he needs money, and he said he wouldn't kneel, but he found another way within that to get attention to what his point is. All I'm saying is, don't let them put power in the fact that you didn't want to kneel. Find something else and make that your freedom of speech. And then what they gonna say now? Because right then you're gonna call their card. You're gonna pull their card and call their bluff, and it's gonna be blatant racism. So if you're not kneeling and you're standing, but now you choose to not take your hat off while they're doing the anthem, or you choose to, touch your toes. If you just bend over, they didn't say you couldn't bend over. So it's just find another way to get your point across.
Okay, now think about it, man. Think about it. Say if Colin gets signed, okay, so he's back in the NFL, and the game's getting ready to start. They're doing the national anthem. A, the camera's gonna be on him, and B, anything that he does is gonna be scrutinized. If he look, like I say, if he looks down at his feet, he's protesting. If he looks up in the air, what are you looking at? If he picks his nose, if he stays in the locker room, no matter what he does, it's gonna be picked apart, and someone's gonna have something. They're gonna find some way to criticize him for it. So really, this dude is in a no-win situation. He's risked his career. He basically given up his career, lost his job, and for what? Because really, nothing's really changed. Well, I take that back. At least, there's more awareness, I guess. And people are talking about it more, so there is more awareness. But dude just got shot in the back 20 times a few weeks ago. So really, how much has it really changed? And has Colin Kaepernick's sacrifice been in vain?
I don't think it's been in vain. I just think that we need more people to stand up. When you marching, don't march in your neighborhood. Go into the neighborhood of the people who have the ability to make change. If you want to protest on the street, go into the streets of the people who make the laws. Let their kids feel uncomfortable because all of these people of color are walking up and down the sidewalk where you're not causing no harm, you're not a threat, but let them see that to where they feel fear, to where they're asking their parents, why are these people of color, mommy, standing on the sidewalk, or why they're in the street, mommy? Now you have to answer that. You have to be accountable. And then when you affect somebody else's bottom line, that's when you get change. But if you're destroying buildings in your own community, they don't own that property. They don't care. When you go in their community, when you spend money, when you take the money away from their community, that's when it matters. That bottom line.
Man, come on now. Are you listening to yourself, man? Think about it, man. If the Black Lives Matter movement marched in Buckhead, they get beat to sleep. Come on.
No, they wouldn't, because it'd be televised.
They ain't trying to hear that.
If you're not a threat, and it's your public right to stand on the sidewalk, what they gonna say? They don't tell you to go up the sidewalk in your own neighborhood, so how they gonna tell you to get the sidewalk over here if it's a public street?
And let me see you try to march.
Once again, if it's a march, they're not gonna do anything.
Let me see you try to organize a march, man. Try to organize a march in Alpharetta and see how far they get you.
You will get changed.
You get got.
No, but then that's gonna show you brutality, social injustice. So you expose it at its fullest.
Okay, we're gonna march in Suwannee and see how far they get us. You might get 100 yards. That's about it, man. Should they have this?
And y'all had the cameras rolling, and it'll be all about, once again, you will expose the social injustice First hand.
See, you can march up and down Bankhead all you want.
Yeah.
You can march at each point all you want, man. If they Riverdale, they don't give a damn. Jonesboro, march all you want.
Once again, you got to go in the neighborhood.
Go to Roswell and see what happens.
Change can be effective.
Be on and popping. All right, so back to the Kaepernick situation a little bit. Like I said, I'm watching the Get Up. So Damian Woody, he gets a chance to say his piece, man. And brother really disappointed me. So Damian, if you're listening out there, man, I got some shit to say about your black ass. All right. Anyways, so they posed the question to Damian, and Damian says that there's only one thing that they care about in an NFL locker room. The players only care about one thing, and that's winning. Can you help me win or lose? And I'm thinking, now that's a sellout comment. That's a sellout comment, because the NFL is 75% African American. Okay? And for him to say that, that's telling me that he's saying exactly what, his bosses at ESPN want to hear and what the viewers want to hear. And so if there was a sellout comment, that was a sellout comment. Because I'm not gonna say I know because I've never been in an NFL locker room, but I'm pretty sure that when it comes to Colin Kaepernick and his movement, that these brothers aren't just thinking about whether or not if he signed, whether or not he can help them win or lose a football game. What are your thoughts? And is Damian Woody the actual sellout by saying that? I think he is.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of players want to make money, period. And I believe that some players are scared to stand up because of their situations. So if you're taking care of your mother, your grandmother, if you're the first millionaire generation of a millionaire and you got a lot of pressure on your shoulders from family members, that could affect some people, it can affect how they react. Now, if you don't care and your family's very supportive because it's not about the money, it's about the principle, then so be it. So it varies from individual to individual. And at the end of the day, if those people who feel like it's all about the money, maybe they was never educated on their past history, maybe they don't know, maybe they don't care. So that would be a question that would rise to say, well, man, we need to educate these people on, do you know why you're able to play football? Do you understand why you're able to make the money you make? It's not just because it just happened. It's because other people before you, black African Americans, sacrificed certain things in life that other people of white background didn't have to sacrifice. So you have to understand your past to be in your present to affect your future.
So suffice it to say that when it comes to the black community, your level of activism really depends on the size of your bank account.
It's based on the individual. I mean, like I said, it's all about their principles and their morals and how they was raised and what they believe in and what they want to fight for and their circumstances. I can't say everybody, like I said, if you got a mom who has cancer but y'all don't have medical insurance and somebody offer you X amount of dollars and if you pay for this particular surgery or this particular medicine it'll cure her, then until you are put into a predicament where you had to make a choice, you don't know what you would do. You can always say when everything's hunky-dory, yeah, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. But when that obstacle comes, that trial and tribulation, now you get to put up or shut up. So Colin Kaepernick gets my respect because he don't have a job. He don't have a job. So you got to respect it because he's teaching African American kids, white kids, black kids, at the end of the day, stand for what you believe or fall for anything. Once again, look at the white kids who came from the privileged family. They school got shot, now it mattered to them. They went all the way to Washington. You see what I'm saying? We didn't go to Washington. We should have went to Washington. They end up getting in the White House. So the bottom line is, if that's what you believe, fight for it. Period. Fight for it.
So is Damian Woody a sellout? Is he the actual sellout?
I think he should have thought before he spoke. I don't know him well enough. It was a comment that it could be looked at it that way, but I believe that he'll probably have a retraction tomorrow or he'll backpedal and try to clean it up. because he's going to realize after hearing it back, or after his friends in the locker rooms or whatever tell him, he gonna be like, he didn't mean it in that context. I guarantee you.
Well, Jalen Rose did check him on it. He was like, hey, because Jalen is a down brother, who's not afraid to kind of speak his mind. He's a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more independent minded than Damian Woody. But then again, Damian Woody played for the New England Patriots, and so in Boston. So you can take from that what you will.
Right. He could, for all you know, he could be. I don't know. I didn't hear it, but he could be brown nosing for a job. Who knows? But I believe that if what he said is what he said, then I believe that he's going to backpedal, and try to clean it up on the next segment that he's in, because he don't want to get looked and frowned upon from his own people if he cares.
I beg to differ. I think he said what was in his heart, and that he believes that, and that he gives a damn what anybody else thinks about it, because he's cashing checks, and that's what's important to him, is cashing checks and not the plight of his fellow brothers and sisters. But then again, hey, it's his life. But Damon, if you're listening, I think you're a sellout. So
that's all about that divide and conquer. When you keep us apart, and you got one that's ignorant and one that is not, it keeps you split. You see? So if he don't know, or he hasn't been taught, or he's been brainwashed, or whatever the case may be, now that's one for them. So somebody like Jalen Rose got to bring him and take him to the back and say, look here, brother, let me give you some history. Let me give you a history lesson. And then you go back out there, then he got to, now that he knows, he can't blame it on ignorance.
Oh, no doubt. So I'll definitely be checking for him in the days and weeks to come to kind of see, what they kind of get into when it comes to this subject, because the Kaepernick thing is not going away, and it's been over a year now, and with the NFL draft coming up, and you got new players coming into the league, old players going out, so fewer and fewer opportunities for Kaepernick to catch on and get a job. So it'd be interesting to see, whether or not he ever gets in that opportunity, and if he does, what he would do with it. I know if I'm him, if I'm that brother, it's easy for me to say, but if I'm that brother, I can't back down. I got to keep kneeling, or I got to keep making some sort of nonviolent protest to keep, what I'm passionate about in the forefront. Because no matter where he goes, if he does get another NFL job, he won't be starting. He'll be on the bench, but still, he can still make sure his voice is heard, and hopefully his teammates will fall behind and help him out as well. But that brings me to another thought when it comes to sports in the NFL, and I've made this point clear many times before, so I'm gonna make this point again, is that, and you got to hear me out here, okay? Like I said before, the NFL is 75% African American, okay? And the game is what it is because of the talent of the African American male. Okay, so suffice it to say that if every black NFL player refused to play on opening week of the NFL, they refused to play. They could not field a team. No team could field a team. No team could actually play because there are not enough white players in the NFL to put together a full roster, okay? And I can tell you right now, don't nobody want to watch NFL football with no black players. So I think at some point, these guys got to come together, stand up, and it's easy for me to say because I ain't the one trying to cash checks like that. I know them dudes make a lot of money, and if they don't play, they don't get paid. But at some point, I think they need to flex their muscle and show the power that they have, because without them, there is no NFL. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, but they're not going to do that for the police brutality, because that's not the owners, and they're still paying them. So unless they're having an issue where there's racial bias or prejudice, then yeah. But within the confines of the NFL, if it doesn't affect them on the field, then they're not going to do that, because the NFL owners don't necessarily have the power individually to make that change. Now they can use money to influence, but that's not the NFL owners' fight. So unless it affects the players for the NFL, and then they collectively come together, like they had a player strike, I forgot what year that was, but it has to affect the majority of the players. And if the majority of the players are African American, if something is within the confines of the football, then yes, they can get something done by just saying, hey, we sit out today. But with police and justice, the owners ain't going for that because that's not their bottom line, and they don't understand because they're not black. So at the end of the day, they're paying these people what they agreed to in their contracts. So it's kind of apples and oranges with the owners, but I understand from a player's perspective. But it's like me having a problem with your president, but then I go to the guy at the corner store, what he gonna do? My problem ain't with him, my problem is with your president per se. So that's where you have to understand the situation itself. You know, if it's not affecting their job directly, then they have no ground to stand on in those owners' eyes.
Do you like football?
Yeah.
You do? So let me ask you this, since we're talking about this. Okay, would you watch a football game, an NFL football game? Would you watch the Atlanta Falcons versus New Orleans Saints if every player on the field was white? Would that be entertaining football to you?
I've never seen an all-white football team, so I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. The NFL is predominantly black for a reason. You know what I mean? Most of the superstars outside of the quarterbacks are African American. Just a fact of the matter. The game has diametrically changed, and it'll never go back to being the same because it's a physical sport that is dominated by the black athlete. And really, if you think about it, look at the NFL roster, usually the majority of the white players, either quarterback or offensive line. You know, usually in a few defensive linemen. But it was, and I ran the numbers.
The kicker.
Yeah, the kicker here and there. Defensive backs, over 90% African American. Linebackers, over 70% African American. Defensive line, over 80% African American. Wide receiver, over 80% African American. Tailback, 98% of the tailbacks in the NFL are black. So and offensive line is about 50-50. The only position where it's predominantly white is quarterback and, like you said, kicker. So you know what that tells me? That tells me that the African American football players have so much power, but it's like they can't, won't, or refuse, or are too afraid to exercise that power.
You have to have unity, because it's just like people going on strike or picketing. One person's situation, and they call them scabs or whatever. One person's situation, you know, hey man, I got a family to feed. Well, the other person don't have a family to feed, or hey man, I got a sick relative. The other person don't. So that's where you have to hit the unity, and people come together and say, well, hey, we're gonna take a collection and we're gonna help this brother out. Versus we all striking, but ain't nobody willing to help the struggle.
I feel you, man. But you know, that's once again, I'm a huge football fan. But those are things I think about. Not to be divisive, not to try to, you know, cause a discord. I don't want NFL football to go away. I really don't want the players to strike or anything like that. But I think it'd be refreshing to see the players raise their voice up and exercise a power that they do have. Even if it's something, you know, to get guaranteed contracts or something like that. I mean, it's something that's going to benefit everybody. I mean, not just, you know, for racial activism. I would just like to see. I
can see them striking for guaranteed money.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You know,
I can see that.
Yeah, get them checks, man. Get them checks. You know, and that's the thing that I really, you know, would like to see. But that's just me. I'm just one man spitting in the wind, trying not to get wet. But anyways. All right. So I know we've been talking for a while. So we're rounding third, heading for home. Got one more subject I wanna touch on before we get up out of here, dog. And then we talked about it a little bit off the air. I got into a conversation last night with my girlfriend, or 2 nights ago. Anyways, it don't matter. Anyway, we were talking, and somehow we got on the subject of Bobby Katrina Brown, as we know, Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's daughter, who passed away a few years ago. And the point that I brought up was that, and I started thinking, I was like, here's someone who was born into black royalty. You know, her mom was one of the greatest singers of all time, and her dad was one of the most successful, R&B artists of his generation. And she was born into money, born into fame, born into wealth. Never had to work a day in her life. And she died tragically at how old was she? Like 20 some odd years old or whatever. Similar to how her mom died. Anyways, I say that to say this. My point was that whether you're black, white, or whatever, if you're born rich as a child, you got the whole world laid out for you. Your only job in life is to stay alive. That's it. You can travel the world, do whatever you want. Everywhere you go, people gonna want to be around you. You get a lot of free shit. You get to date whoever you want to date. You get to do basically anything you want to do. Things that people like us just dream about being able to do. And all you got to do is stay alive and spend your folks' money. And she couldn't make it to 25 years old, however old she was, I forget. She couldn't. And I was like, that's got to be the dumbest thing in the world. But I'm speaking from my own perspective, though. But I know if I'm in that situation, I ain't hang gliding, I ain't alpine skiing, I ain't swimming with sharks. I'm balling out, having fun, and just concentrating on staying alive. Dude, talk to me.
Like I said, with her, allegedly, because I don't know all the facts, she did drugs with the family. Or
bitch dead. That's the fact.
So, I mean, technically, yeah, if you a rich person's child, you just gotta live. But because I've never been rich, I don't know what that upbringing is like and how that can deviate. Because, for example, when you look at all these people who doing these, well, not all, but some of the people who, like the Columbine kids, they was from a successful family. The kids who killed their parents, with the Menendez brothers or whatever, they were from a rich family. The boy who shot up the school in New York with all the little kids, his parents was well off. So, I don't know what that's like, because I don't see the poor people doing it. But like I said, allegedly she was doing drugs with the family, so it was a lot of dysfunction there from the jump. So, I really don't know, because like I said, her mother died. That affected her. Women are very emotional, so I don't know. I mean, she could have stayed. It's easy for us to say that because we didn't walk them shoes, but I feel for her. I wouldn't, and I could say to myself, I'm not gonna do that. But don't nobody know what she was going through, but the people who was in her circle.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, it's. I guess once again, it's hard for me to fathom being in a position like that and throwing it all away when, like I said, your only lot in life is really just to not do something stupid and to stay alive. But then again, don't even have to be the child of a rich and famous person. If you're rich and famous, I mean, look at Michael Jackson or whatever, good example, Prince or whatever. I mean, you really, you got the world at your feet. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Like I said, I mean, it's
stay alive. Just stay alive.
It's easy for us to say that. But once again, it's just like somebody judging you on, why you're not a lawyer, or why you're not a doctor, or why you don't have this, or why you don't have that. If they haven't walked your shoes, who are they to tell you why you don't? I mean, like I said, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just saying, until you walk a person's shoes, you don't know. Easy for us to not have money. We always sit back with the friends and the fellas and be like, man, if I had $1 million, I'd do this, I'd do that. But then you meet these people who hit the lottery and they broke in 5 years. So, I don't know. I mean, I could say I won't, but I can't speak for the next person because they might not be strong-minded like me. They might not be strong-minded like you.
No. That's not what I mean, man. It's one thing, if you get money or whatever and ball out, good for you, go with God. But ball out, but don't ball out risking your life. I mean, if you're going to ball out, I mean, I'm go. Oh, okay, I'm a millionaire now. I'm gonna go and climb Mount Everest. What the fuck?
I mean, I agree, but once again, money. They always say money is the root of all evil. So money can change some people. Some people, when it come down to that dollar, I've witnessed it in my own family, where it can pit people against one another over a dollar, over the fact that they want more and don't have more, and feel somebody owes them something. So, like I said, stay alive. Yeah, I agree with you, but I can't go no further than that because I don't know their life. Michael Jackson, it's easy for us to say we'd trade a finger or something to live that lifestyle, but it seems like, he was never able to be a kid, and it affected his ability to differentiate grown up from child, and he wants to play with little boys or whatever, as far as having them in Neverland and all the speculations, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I said, it's hard to judge somebody until you walk their shoes.
No doubt. Well, point well taken. So you're right. I digress. But what do y'all think out there? Chime in. Let me know. Hit me up at What Lonzo Thinks, Twitter, email whatlonzothinks@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Patreon. I appreciate all my supporters. Now, I've been getting into, I guess, a couple heated discussions online with some of my fans or whatever, right? They tend to disagree with the things I got to say. So I want to make this point absolutely clear, okay? These are my opinions. They're not just one person's opinion. So if you don't agree with my opinion, fine. You're not supposed to. I mean, I guess that's why it's called an opinion. It don't mean I'm right. So if I say the sky's blue, then damn it, the sky's blue. But that don't mean I'm right. It could be green in your eyes. So if it's green to you, then damn it, it's green to you. So
take off the context.
No doubt. So to my listeners out there who try to get at me a little bit, who don't agree with what I got to say, that's fine. I appreciate your opinion and everything. I'm not gonna change my opinion. And if you don't like it, that's your problem, and that's your mama's problem, not mine. So keep it lighthearted. Stop insulting me and all that kind of stuff, because that gets you nowhere. Especially because it's online. I mean, if you live in Great Britain, and you want to insult me. I mean, come on. How ain't like I can come next door and beat your ass. You know what I mean? So, so I'm not gonna argue with you or whatever, right? But anyways, I do appreciate everybody chiming in. Let me know how you feel about the things I got to say. So I guess that means you're listening. Because sometimes the same guy keeps coming back at me over and over and over again. And if you're listening, you know who the fuck you is. So next time I'm in Great Britain, I'm checking for your ass in the daylight with a flashlight. So I'm gonna find your punk ass. All right, man. You got any last words for me?
Stay true to you, live in your truth, and speak the truth. Peace.
No doubt. So hit me up. Let me know what you think, because you're always gonna know what Lonzo thinks. Bye.